Fantastic. That's amazing.
And I think we have some students who are going to come in this session.
Fantastic. I was just looking up more about the Ambazonian conflict. Here's my clicker. Yep, I got it. I got my own. Yeah, so I'm just wondering if I can like do the Oprah thing and take the microphone out. So I'm Maggie Farley. I'm with the Google News Initiative. And
We're being live streamed.
we're being live streamed. Okay. So you're behind the camera, but I wanted to find out a little bit about who's here today. Will you raise your hand if you're a student? And a journalist or studying journalism? And a professor? Wow. And anything else?
She was a keynote speaker. I'm a scholar.
Yes. Related to Austin? Are you related to Austin? It's an unusual name, it sounds like it. Okay, so if you're following along on a computer or a phone, you might want to go to this link right here. It's g.co/news training. And that shows the whole range of tools that Google has developed, mostly for journalists, but anybody can use them. And they're really, some of them are really good for researchers and students as well. And so those are little bite-sized modules. You can go at your own pace. They're 5 to 10 minutes a piece. You can download them so you don't need to have a Wi-Fi connection. I often just kind of go through them on the train on my way to work. And then you can just go deeper and deeper. So I'm with the Google News Lab, which was created by Google. It's a $300 million initiative to support newsrooms and journalists as they move into the digital age and to teach technology tools for research, for good ways to find data, analyze it, visualize it, create engagement with news communities. And Google also has some strong ties with Howard. Have you heard of Howard West or the Tech Exchange? You all know about it, okay. So it's for engineers, but there's also a Google fellow in residence at Howard that sounds like you all know about. So today, because it is the cybersecurity conference and social media, we're gonna talk about verification, how to know whether that news is real or not. We'll look at some of the tools that Dr. Ipwene was showing us. I'm going to show you how to do them yourself. How to protect your own information on the internet. And then, if we've got time, we'll go into just some basic tools that you may not know about that are going to help your research. Advanced search, trends, Google Trends, how to see what other people are searching. And then, if there's time, we can get into the fancy stuff, the data visualization. But since you gave me your time today, I'm going to give you your hour back. So this is what I call the bonus tool. And it's voice typing. So if you open up a Google Doc and you go to Tools up here, right there, click on Tools. There's a drop-down menu. It says Voice Typing. You click on that microphone, and it will write whatever you say into the computer. You want to go over that again? So open up a Google Doc. Up along the top menu, go to Tools. It drops down to Voice Typing. Click on the microphone. And then you just speak into the computer, and it will type what you say. You have to give it the punctuation if you're dictating. But it does recognize proper nouns and capitalizes them. Like you talk into your phone. And some journalists find it really useful. They can tape record an interview and then just play it to their computer, walk away, have lunch, come back. It is not, that is not I, but,
It's doing it on my computer, recording.
okay. So that's a really useful tool. And then just this week, we released in beta a new tool where you can upload an MP4 recording, and it can transcribe the whole recording. So, yeah. So you could record a lecture.
I'm thinking of transcripts for research.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I have my email at the end, so email me and I will send you the link to that and instructions how to use it. Okay, you got your hour back, right there. Okay, so verification. So Dr. Apwene just gave us a great example of how you can use different tech tools to find out what is really going on. And this is a big problem these days. We call it the F word, which stands for fake. But we don't like to use the word fake news because, as President Trump bragged yesterday, he made up the term. He's taking full credit for making up the term, and some people say that he is responsible for popularizing accusations of fake news, accusing journalists who write something that is inconvenient or exposes some sort of information that the people in power want to remain covered up. They just discredit it by saying, oh, that's fake news. And since the term has come into vogue, you see autocrats, dictators, people in power all over the world using this tool to dismiss good journalism. So if you're journalism, that kind of undermining your work is difficult. But we see fake news as we, actually now we say disinformation, misinformation. We don't like to use the term because it really doesn't have the meaning that it was meant to have. So the F word. So you see misinformation and disinformation all over the world. It's propaganda, lies. Those go back to the beginning of time. But with the advent of technology, they spread a lot faster. They're getting more and more sophisticated. So I want to give you some tools to try to detect and defend against misinformation and disinformation.
Entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, I don't know, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or, how about this, simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. It's a time when we need to rely on.
Okay, so that's an example of a new phenomenon called deepfakes. Has anybody heard of a deepfake or encountered one? They're quite difficult to make, and there are a lot of people chasing the deepfakes right now, trying to create tools for detection. Google is working on it. Microsoft is working on it. Reuters, news organizations are all trying to educate about deepfakes and create technological tools to detect them. But the problem is, with technology, it's always a cat and mouse game. The technology to catch them is always reactive. So the first step is just to make people aware that they're out there and to be a little bit skeptical, not cynical, but skeptical about what you are encountering, especially this year, which is an election year. And as we've seen, it's a time that's ripe for disinformation. It doesn't have to be complicated, though.
On social media want you to believe Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi is slurring her speech or stuttering. But both videos are deceptively edited. Let's look at the first one. It shows her comments during the Center for American Progress Ideas Conference. A video shared on Facebook appears to show Pelosi speaking unusually slow.
And then he had a press conference in the Rose Garden with all this, sort of visuals that obviously were planned long before I said, most currently, that he was engaged in a cover-up.
However, compare that version to one from C-SPAN.
And then he had a press conference in the Rose Garden with all this, sort of visuals that obviously were planned long before I said, most currently, that he was engaged in.
So you can see the difference. It doesn't have to be really technologically sophisticated, a deep fake. You can just slow down or edit or do things to manipulate the context or the actual content of the information. And it's deceptive and it's designed to fool you. So that's disinformation. So it's deep fake versus cheap fake. So this is interesting. In congressional hearings, they gathered all sorts of material that was created by Russian disinformation groups to interfere in the American election in 2016. And they found, by using demographic data that Facebook provides to their advertisers, they could target certain demographics. And these Russians created these fake groups. One was called Woke Blacks, the other was called Blacktivist, to target demographics, to create divisions, to heighten tensions, and they even created demonstrations in different cities. And sometimes they would create one for white supremacists to come out and demonstrate at the same time and place as Blacktivists, intentionally pitting them against each other to create social chaos. So I actually got one of these on my page, but there's a way to check it. So if you like one of the sentiments and like the page, then they know that their message is resonating with you and that they will keep targeting you with advertisements. But the way to find out who is behind the page, go here on if it's a page, like not a group, but a page that you like, there's this new thing called page transparency. And you click on this, and a box will pop up. Should be playing. And a box will pop up showing who created the page. And if it happens to be someone in Ukraine or Russia, this one is United States and India, for example. But if it's some place where you think, why do they have an interest in this issue? That's a red flag. Don't follow it. Okay, has anybody tried Google image search, reverse image search? Yeah? Reverse image search. So you can take an image and drop it in the search bar. Just drag and drop it, or paste the URL where you found it, and it will search it for you. This is useful. This has just come out. This is a database of fake people. So these people do not exist, and that's the name of the website. These people do not exist. And they use AI generators to create fake faces. So there are some good purposes for this. For example, if you're a dissident in a country that has really strict controls and you want to create a media page and make comments, but you don't want to be traced back with facial recognition, then you might use this. But there's all sorts of nefarious purposes for it too. I mean, they found that some people are even using them to catfish, to try to strike up romances with people and then ask them for plane tickets and money. Can you see this? This was a picture that came out during Hurricane Dorian. And it shows that the hurricane was so fierce it just blew the dolphin out of the sea. So, you look at that and you're like, wow. Right. So if you see any picture that makes you go, whoa, that might be a red flag that it's designed to get your attention. And the way you can check it is on a laptop, you can do a right click on a PC or a two-fingered click on a Mac or control click on a Mac. And that will take you right here to search Google for image. And then it'll show you all the times that an image like this is been uploaded. And you can see that most of them don't have a dolphin in the picture, but one has. So that's a pretty strong hint that that really striking picture was photoshopped. So here's a picture that purports to be from Hong Kong in the demonstrations, a protester returning a tear gas canister with a tennis racket. Pretty clever. But there is something wrong with this picture. That's a good guess. Actually, it says it's from Reuters. So that's one thing that you could search. But if you just do a reverse image search, you find that it is indeed from Reuters, but it's not from Hong Kong. And it's not from this year, it's from 2016. Exactly, reframing. So you see this a lot in misinformation and disinformation, recycled footage that's already out there that's repurposed out of context. Who recognizes this bridge? If you do, or if you think you do, why don't you type in that URL, tinyurl.com/RIS, reverse image search, dash bridge. Did anybody find something? It's not the Golden Gate Bridge. And we all thought it was. Like, oh, that's San Francisco. But where is it? You're right. Yeah, so it's not Photoshop. That's a real bridge in Portugal that just looks like the Golden Gate Bridge. So as they say in the newsroom, if your mother says she loves you, check it out. Okay, look at this. This is footage from a rocket. So videos are a little bit harder to check. But what you can do, like Dr. Appointe pointed out, you can take a video and break it down frame by frame. And here's a tool called InVid. It's not a Google tool, it's a one made in Europe that breaks a video down to the keyframes. And then you can do a reverse image search on a keyframe. And when one reporter did that, this is supposed to be happening in Pakistan, I think. This is what they found. It was a video clip from a video game. Yeah, okay, so. That's a good point. Did everybody hear that? If you're expecting to see something, then you're more likely to see it and not check it out. So this is another tool called Watch Frame by Frame. And so like the BBC did in Cameroon, they broke down the video frame by frame. And then you can look more closely at the details. You can see if what people are saying really happened. You can see if it's where it was meant to happen. New York Times sort of did this with footage from Hong Kong.
We see the protester who's about to get shot. He's carrying a blue shield. The officer shoots him just as he's swinging a metal rod at him. He stumbles and falls over the officer on the ground.
So that's an example. I mean, some people were saying that the protester attacked the police officer and that's why the policeman shot him. And when you slow it down frame by frame, you can actually see the protester swinging that metal rod at the policeman. He didn't hit him, he hit his sleeve. You can see the material move, but there was no connection. But look, the policeman shot him point blank. He was about as far away as we are. And so when you are able to slow down these things, you can see the details. There's another one that was really viral a couple of years ago about an eagle swooping down and picking a child up. Did you see that? And if you slowed it down frame by frame, you would see things like the eagle's wings disappeared in certain frames because it was CGI. So Amnesty International, this is not a Google tool, this is something created by Amnesty because a lot of people would send them videos purporting to show human rights abuses. But a lot of times, as we said, it was reframing, it was recycling old content for new purposes. And so they created this YouTube data viewer, and you can put in the URL or the video, and it will show you if it's ever been uploaded to YouTube before. And then, you know, all the students do this automatically, but for journalists, older journalists, it's not so intuitive, but it's like a social audit. So if someone asks to friend you on social media, you know, you might go through a quick calculation. Who is this person? Why do they want to friend me? Who are they friends with? Do I know those other people? Do I want to know those other people? What's their agenda? And journalists should do the same thing. When they come across a piece of social media or user-generated content, just go through that quick check. Is it a new account? How long have they posted? Do they post all day and all night? If so, it's probably a bot. Do they have thousands of posts and only 2 followers? Probably a bot. And if you want to investigate things on Twitter, their interface isn't very useful for research, but there's something called TweetDeck where you can do all sorts of searches. And it's good for journalists because you can narrow it down to a certain location. If an incident happened, you're looking for eyewitnesses, you can narrow it down to a certain location and search that way and slide into their DM. or not. And on Instagram, if you're wondering when and where the post was made, there's a little trick. You can click on the embed code. It's 3 little dots. It's hard to see on this, but it'll give you an embed code in case you want to put it on social media. And it gives you the actual code. Now you don't have to know how to code. You just search that code for time date or date time. And it'll tell you the date and time that it was posted. And that can give you a hint. This is a new tool from the University of Indiana called Botometer. It's supposed to audit your Twitter account for bots. So I did my own. And red means high likelihood of bot. Blue means probably a person. And so they are looking for things like, do they post a lot? Do they have a new account? I am not a bot. I am real. But it turns out I do have some bot followers. And this is another tool from University of Indiana. And at the end, I'm going to give a link to a page with all of these links. So you can write them down now, or I can give you the link. But it's called Hoaxy. And what it does is it visualizes the networks and how a piece of information spreads. So you can see who are the influencers. And then, yeah, it's really useful for journalists and when you see things trending.
And it's good for an infographic.
Great for an infographic, yeah. Okay, so this is for your own security, since we're doing cybersecurity. So this was a survey that was done by a group called SplashNet, and every year they try to find the most popular passwords. These are the most popular passwords of 2018. You think we know better, right? But people still use these. 65% of people use the same password across a lot of their accounts. Guilty. Yeah, well, yeah, diversification is good. And only 11% of people change their passwords after a breakup. So, if you don't mind that your ex is Netflix and chilling with someone else on your password, So you can do this right now if you go to haveibeenpwned.com. Pwned is actually a typo from owned from World of Warcraft, and it just became a kind of a meme. This is safe. I'm not sending you off to have your password pirated or anything. If you just put in your email, it can tell you if it has been captured by hackers on a variety of public sites. And here are 4 that came up from my results.
Oh, no.
So change that password. Some of them are quite old now, and you probably have changed your password. Anyway, it goes back almost 10 years. But Google has just started something which I'll show you in a minute to help you detect whether your password has been captured. But in the meantime, when you're changing your password, like you're about to do, they recommend don't use a word, especially don't use your pet or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because everybody does that. Try to think of a phrase and then something that only you use a lot, and then make a little code out of it. So you can see how they took the first letter of each word in this sentence and added a number and a symbol. So you can go to, you can have a browser extension that does a password checkup, but Google just this week unveiled something that builds it into your computer. So you can look for that at passwords.google.com. And when you log into something, they'll tell you if the password you're using has been compromised before. It will remind you that you've used it 19 times on the same site, or if your password is considered weak. And then if you can't remember all those complicated passwords that you're making up now, there are these password keepers. First one is Google, Smart Lock. The other 2 are not Google, but they're good. 1Password, LastPass, Dashlane is another. And they'll just keep it securely. It's encrypted on your computer, and nobody else can see them. Has anybody heard of phishing?
We just got a notice about phishing attacks.
It's really prevalent at universities. And I was teaching at American University, and the IT department actually sent out a phishing attack to see who would click on it. And then they had to come in for a little seminar. But the hackers are getting more and more sophisticated. They actually copy actual notices. Like Google sends this out saying someone in, what do they say? In France is trying to log on to your account. And then they say, click here to find out more. Review your devices. But you click through, and it's actually a hacker, and he asks you to put in your password, and then they have your password. So Google won't ask you to put in your password on this thing. And if you think you get something like this, never click on a link in an email. Go outside the email, open up a new browser window, maybe even in a different browser, and go in on your own. Don't click on the link in the email. There's other things you can do. You can hover over any link, and it should have a pop-up window telling you what the actual link is. And the hackers also fake that link, but sometimes not. They're not so sophisticated about it. So whenever you're doing something sensitive, banking, any information you don't want people to get, check your URL. Make sure you see the little padlock there, which means it's encrypted. It's not a shopping bag. That's what a lot of people think. Oh, I'm shopping. But it's supposed to be a padlock. And so here's a phishing email, and it's too light, I guess, for you to see with the lights on. But this is from eFax, E-F-A-X, and if you click on the link, it's EFACKS. So sometimes they try to fake it. Sometimes they're not even clever about it. And then you can put your mouse over the link, and the link will pop up, and you can compare it to what you know to be true. So here's one that was kind of clever. They made a new domain. It was google.com dash login dash redirect. Redirect is kind of a red flag. But, and then it says .com at the end. So a real URL would be .com/whatever else, right? Just make sure that whatever comes after, that it ends in a .com, and whatever comes after that is a slash. There's a lot of fake news sites that will use like abc/us.com or abc.com/something-else.com. So just be a little wary. If you have any suspicions at all, or if it's anything suspect at all. And then if they offer two-step verification, take it. Sometimes it's a little bit of a hassle. My daughter is traveling right now and she wants to use the Uber. I have the account on my phone. And she's like, send me the verification code so I can get my Uber. So it's a multi-step process. And then there's security keys. Has anybody seen something like this? You have one. So anyone dealing with classified information, something really sensitive, we so sensitive it makes you sneeze, whatever. This is a physical key, and now they make them even smaller. It's just a little nub. I can show you. You can't even see it in my computer. It's just like that. That you can stick in your computer, and then it's like two-step verification right where you are. So it might ask you to touch the key, and then it knows it's you. So that's high tech, but they're not expensive. So if you go to securityplanner.org, it'll ask you what level of security do you think you need? You know, all the way from just a regular person who's shopping and banking online to a journalist who's getting secret tips and you want to do everything encrypted. Whistleblower tips, yes. Don't endanger that whistleblower or yourself. There are all sorts of different ways. We can talk about that too. You know, you don't use regular text, you use Signal or Telegram, which is encrypted. WhatsApp is even encrypted, although it's owned by Facebook. And this is actually kind of fun. It's difficult. If you go to g.co, which stands for google.co/phishing quiz, if you want to take that phishing quiz and look at how sophisticated the hackers can be, it's really kind of fun and interesting. Okay. So Professor Sturgis asked me to do some basics. I don't know how much time we have.
So maybe another.
Oh, okay. I can whoosh through this. But these are just some little.
Then I can ask questions.
Yeah. Do you want to ask questions on the misinformation or security? Yes.
I'm always wary of putting my email, for instance, the phone one that you showed.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I'm thinking if I'm putting it there and they didn't have it, now I just gave it to them. So,
Very good. That's exactly the right kind of mentality you should have. I have checked it out. You know, Google wouldn't have it be part of the presentation if it weren't checked out and we were just giving them all of your emails. But the thing is, you put in your email, right, not your password. And so you probably put your email in all sorts of things in the internet to sign up for newsletters or discounts or whatever. So in terms of risk, that was not that risky. If they asked you to put in your password, even if I asked you to put in your password, it's like, it's fine. Don't do it. Very good instincts, though. Any other questions? Yes?
I was just gonna make a comment while we were sitting here. I had just the notification to be out of, and then it sent me a signal, somebody trying to log in. So just as another demonstration of what you're talking about. Hackers and
Yeah, I think that with AI and the bots, they can do thousands of probes a day, and they can run 1 million different combinations through a day. And so chances are you may get an email like that saying someone is probing and offer you a chance to change your password or to decline to let them have access. Yeah. Has anybody ever gotten caught up in an ID, someone who's captured your ID or anything? Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, after you see all these things, you may feel a little bit terrified, like, how do we know anything is real? And that's part of the intention. Like, these disinformation campaigns, even someone calling something fake news, they don't have to do anything except for sow confusion, and they've succeeded. So what we're trying to do is educate people and make you aware of what's out there so you can be skeptical and ask the question, where is this coming from? What do they want me to do? How do they want to make me feel? What's the agenda here? Are they trying to get my password? Are they trying to get my money? They're trying to get me to sign up for something. They're trying to get me to share something. And just to be a little bit skeptical, but not cynical, because if they stop making us trust everything, then they've won. You have a question in the back.
How do we then protect it? I never media, we are investigating.
Yes, that's a great question. And especially in rural parts of Africa where the internet is not widespread or maybe even not available. Maybe people are just getting onto the internet through their phones for the first time. It's very, very difficult. And in India, there have been examples of mobs that have been incited by false information that's been coming over WhatsApp. You know, saying that somebody's a kidnapper, and then a whole village will go and attack that person because they saw online that they're a kidnapper. So that's one of the most difficult things right now, this whole disparity in the advanced technology. And, you know, even my daughter's phone got stolen, and, you know, you can put a message on the lock screen even after it's stolen, if you find my phone. And so I said, this phone has been lost, please contact, and I put my number, you know, reward. And then we reported it to Apple and to AT&T, and then not long after we reported it to Apple, I got a text message saying, your phone has been found. Click here on the map to see where your phone is. And I thought, oh, they just want me to click there. This could be the hackers. And so I copied the link and I looked it up, and it was a legit link on an Apple map to a place that was not far away. It's like, oh, okay, they found the phone. How exciting. And then it asked me to, for the next step in the recovery process, put in my Apple ID, and I should have known better, but it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and right after I did it, I was like, oh, shoot. And they had my Apple ID. They took Find My Phone off the phone, and that was it. And I knew better. I even checked. So, I mean, even the most sophisticated people, like I say, it got me. It got me. It's like, I'm so smart. I looked up the link, but it was the link beyond the link. Yeah. So just be careful. And I mean, yeah, how careful can we be, right? Yes, yes. I agree. Okay, so that's why they put out this whole password check thing. So it automatically checks to see if your password is secure and if anybody has ever breached the site where you are putting in your password or if your password is too easy. So they're trying. They will provide some newsrooms, maybe even universities, with those little keys. I mean, it's just a cat and mouse game. I mean, technology helps us so much in so many ways. It makes so many things easier and faster, but it's a double-edged sword. And there's all sorts of unwitting consequences to technology that, you know, you can't even imagine when you create something. Looks like we are finishing up. So I'm going to put this up here. This is a link to all the tools and resources that I talked about today. And talking about security, Google just locked down sharing on a lot of our documents, so just last week. So if that link doesn't work, email me and I will send it to you directly. And my email is there, mfarley@google.com. Yes, it's new, but you know, technology is evolving every day. They change the search algorithm all the time. They change the recommended channels on. Actually, there's no recommended channels anymore on YouTube because they found that it was recommending people in the wrong direction. So that's gone. But you know, they're always tweaking and always trying to make it better. And if you have feedback, please send it to me, especially as you go through those training modules, or if you use any of these tools in real life, I'd love to hear about it. Okay? If you would like me to come to your classroom or your newsroom, email me, or you can also, if you have any questions about how the tools work, we have different specialists, so newslabsupport@google.com, that will get your question to the right specialist. Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. That was really wonderful. Just the
transcription alone was worth the price of entry, because I've been using a lot of transcription tools and they all charge. And I think this one is free. Yeah. And if you're doing any kind of research, academic research, and you're doing interviews and things like that, this is just amazing. Because trying to transcribe your notes takes hours. Yes?
Sorry, I'm just coming in,
Mhm.
but the research that my office does, it's usually with some international students. Is the transcription service really good when it comes to
Foreign languages.
it's not the
Accents or foreign language?
accents? Oh, okay, accents. So there are students here, but they say they have accents. So.
That's a great question. I know that Google Translate has many languages, and I think that it uses the same back end. But
Because the person that we use,
yeah,
it takes a little longer because they're trying to understand it a little, because they can't really understand international students.
right. I wonder if you can set the language. I'm going to play with it and figure it out.
Any other final questions? We're going to wrap up. I want to express my gratitude for everybody who came, as well as our live streaming. We're still live streaming. We're coming to the end. And I thank you all for coming. We do this every year. Next year, we're going, Dr. Langmia is going to talk to you about our plans for our conference next year and for our 10th anniversary.
All right. Please give yourselves a round of applause for attending the 9th edition of the Social Media Conference. The takeaway today has been extremely enlightening. I would really want to start with the keynote speaker who actually broadened my mind today about the idea of our brain being affected by disinformation. Too much of this disinformation, fake news. My students leave the classroom, their heads are down on their phones. You can even see in the room here, some of my students, see the students, they are all looking down. They are texting, they are Snapchatting, they are Facebooking, without verifying whether they're actually sending it to the right person, that it may be a prank. I tell my students, after a class, all you need to do is take 20 minutes to meditate about what the class was all about. Just walk and feel the air. Just chat with a friend in order to suck the information that you just received in the classroom before you open your phone to get the emergency information, quote unquote, all information for my students are emergency. But we are living in an era where we are so glued to social media that is affecting our cognition. Another issue is the addiction, which is affecting our in-person communication. The takeaway again today. So we have more texters than talkers. And when you are more of a texter, you will fall victim to some of these issues that have been raised today. Another issue that we need to also bear in mind is about the bots and the cyber bots. We were in New York. Matthew Cushin is sitting down there. We were in New York for a program for 1 week. And we were visiting IBM. We visited Facebook. We visited Momentum. All these tall companies in New York. Majority of them were on digital communication. They were giving us about the idea of the artificial intelligence, algorithm. We went to LGA. We even found people trying to record voices that would be played on us, our GPS. And I said, I don't recognize anybody from my culture on GPS. I don't like the gender of the GPS person, so I may get an accident. What about just calling an Uber? We got an act, somebody was killed in Prince George's County. Call an Uber, the Uber brought the person that came. When the person entered, he just shot the driver. How was he to know that that Uber driver was going to lose his life just because of artificial intelligence. I tell people, if it is artificial, then it is not natural. Artificial is artificial. We now face issues of smart cities, where our lives are all going to be converted by this thing called digital modes of communication. Virtuality is going to take our lives, whether we like it or not. So this social media conference is a call to question, to challenge our natural God-given face-to-face. I don't use the term face-to-face. I use the term in-person, because FaceTime is face-to-face. Skype is face-to-face. So when you use face-to-face to a social media professor, I'm confused. I don't know what you mean. So how are we going to balance all this? And especially in communication discipline, where theory is being affected, it's changing every day. How do we theorize the discussion that we've gotten today when tomorrow is going to change? Your Snapchat feed today is not a Snapchat feed tomorrow. Are we asking this question, or our heads are all downwards at the airport, at the train station, tweeting, texting? Have we really asked these questions? That is why we organize this social media conference, especially on privacy and security. As my colleague, Professor Ingrid Sturgis said, I know she's going to be a doctor soon because she's a doctoral candidate. We'll be in Nairobi, Kenya, for 2020. We'll soon be sending out the call for papers. We want you to follow us now internationally, to the ground. Let us hear this issue about digital divide. We are here in the United States of America. We all have smartphones. Not everybody has smartphone in some parts of the world. They have cell phones. They use SMS. So they don't even download WhatsApp. But they exchange money. They are liable to this fake news. Any information to them is God sent, because they believe in God. They believe that if a message falls on my phone, God sent it, and they just act on it. No, this is the truth. So it's time for us to start taking this conference internationally to open people's minds. Just imagine this Google workshop happening in Nairobi, Kenya, in Accra, in Johannesburg, in Cairo, Egypt. We are going to narrow the digital divide, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we are now going to foresee where are we getting to with this thing called social media. Is it still social? Or is it social and political and economic and cultural? Is it fake news or alternative facts? So we are twisting terminologies which is affecting our brain, like the keynote speaker said. And since it's affecting our brain, we may not distinguish lies from truth. Not to talk of reality. Reality may be hyper, reality may be hyped. How are we going to know the difference? That is what we got this year in the 9th edition of Social Media Conference. I want to thank you so much. I don't want to preach. So it has been a day, and I really want to thank the keynote speaker. Please give a round of applause to our keynote speaker. I also want our two speakers who just came from Uganda, please, Sada and Dorothy, can you please rise? Give them a round of applause. They just flew in. I think they are here just about 3 days. They just came in. So most of them, this is a wonderful occasion for them. They are learning a lot. They've been sitting there. I also want us to give a round of applause to Stephanie Smith. Can you please rise? She was very early here in the morning, and she's been sitting down. We've been watching you. We want to thank you so much. And this is Howard University that you used to hear about. So whatever thing you have for us in order to advance the agenda, we are open to any initiative.
Okay, so my name is Stephanie. I am the Digital and Social Media Supervisor at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. We're a NASA center in California specializing in robotic exploration of Earth and the solar system and everything that lies beyond. And one of the things that NASA is charged with is sharing all of its missions and all of its data with the widest possible audience. And that means that, we want to go out and give information. Traditionally, in the newsroom, we give information to reporters, and then the reporters take it and then they tell their stories directly to the public. But as more and more newsrooms
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want us to give a round of applause to my friend there, Matthew Cushion. Could you please rise? I'm just wanting you guys to thank those who didn't have the opportunity to come up here at the podium. Matthew and I, we were in New York. He is from West Virginia. In fact, this summer I had to spend about, was it 4 or 5 days with you, Matthew? And he took me to kayak, you know, on kayak, and that was my first experience. I was really frightened. But long and short of it was his brain that attracted me to him when we were in New York. You could listen to the kind of question he's asking, and you can imagine he just came out with a book titled Social Media, and it's trending as we speak on LinkedIn and on Amazon. In fact, on Amazon, it got all kinds of stars also contributed. Matt, can you please say a word or two to the students who are sitting here about your book?
Sure. Thank you so much. So the book that I wrote is about using social media in the classroom to help students prepare for careers, and the very thing that you're talking about, using the technology to reach audiences, to communicate messaging, to find opportunities to develop relationships between organization and public, or any member of the public. And so it's a great honor for me to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope to come back and try that again.
No, it was actually scary to be in the, yeah.
One important thing, the title.
Yeah. The title of the book is Teach Social Media, a Plan for Creating a Course Your Students Will Love. Teach Social Media, a plan for...
In fact, if you just Google teach social media and just hit enter, you are going to have his book.
I know a lot, Maurice, I have to see.
Oh, great.
So, you know, and now that you just facilitated the entire meeting. So, I feel you. Yeah, I really think
All right. All right, the last guest I want to introduce is,
I just want to say one thing. I'm also working on a book on digital media literacy for diverse communities. So if that's something that you're interested in for the researchers here, please reach out to me because I'm looking for people to contribute as well. Thank you.
all right, the last guest I want to introduce is my brother of the blood. You know, in America, we are told that you have a brother of the blood. Is it a red blood or a white blood cell? Please, Dr. Gomia Victor of Delaware State University, please rise. Give him a round of applause. This, they just registered to come and participate. And this is very, very important because, you know, you guys, like the students who are sitting here, you take the social media for granted. But there are people who are actually taking it to the next step. And for people to travel and drive with all the traffic to come for such a conference, they deserve a round of applause. The last, but not the least, is about our books. Each time when we run the social media conference, we always publish books. We now have 2 books that have been published for the 9th year. The first was Social Media Pedagogy and Practice. You can Google that, you can see that. The second book was Social Media, Culture and Identity. Published by us, our team. You'll see that. Then the next one that is coming up is going to be like the theme of this conference: social media, safe spaces, or dangerous terrain. Right now, it is being reviewed by Paul Grave Macmillan. So what we do is that the presenters, we take note of what they did, and when there is time for call for papers, we always reach out to them. Could you please send your paper to us if you inculcated all the suggestions that were given to you at the conference? We would like to look at your paper to propose it now as a book chapter for the next edition. So the conference is not just, as you see, we are live streaming it. There are people all over the world who are following us. This conference has actually been seen as one of the prime movers, especially for minorities. Again, let me go back to what happened in New York. When we went to one of these companies, we asked a question: why is artificial intelligence so biased to people of color? You saw the picture here that the Google was showing. The people of color with AI. Why is it that the police detector camera will just show a picture of somebody who is a fugitive, who is black, and will just go after without verifying? So those are kind of the questions that we ask, and those are the kind of book chapters that we look out for. So with this book that is coming up, you'll find people who've written extensively on safe spaces and dangerous terrain. So we enjoin you. If you're interested in what we do, please look out for Call for Papers, which is going to be coming out maybe 2 or 3 years from now. But of course, it is the social media conference that is going to be in Nairobi, Kenya, that we are going to be sending out maybe by January or February. So please hang out with us. Don't just come here and think that this is it. Please be with us. For the students, it's not just because you had a class and you can. Please join us. Subscribe to our channel. We have our website, www.socialmediatechnologyconference.com. Look at all the speakers way back to 2012. Read some of their bios. Read some of the comments that are written there. It will help you even in the way you write your essays. We are now having companies sending us information. Send us students for social media coordinators. Starting salary, 90,000, 89,000. And we don't know a student to recommend. Because you come to our conference, but you don't make your impact fair. You don't send us a book chapter. Undergraduate students send book chapters, and it's been published. We don't see you come to our office and say, look, we came to your conference. These are kinds of the things that we want to contribute. You are reading. Vocabulary needs to be extremely, extremely elastic. How many books on social media have you read? Now that you are so glued to your Snapchat, you are so glued to your Twitter, you are so glued. Do you know the dangers? Anyway, you know, Ingrid is signaling to me that I need to get, yes. Okay, so we have another presenter?
Yes. Well, we have one last final presenter who just made it, and we want to give him his time to present for a few minutes. Kamal Al-Gawal. Yes, he's the last presenter for today. He just made it. He was finishing up his class, so we're going to give him some time.
I was back to back from 9 o'clock. And is there any way I can access my email? So
Yeah.
you can go to gmail.com. That will be easy. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Ingrid Sturgis.
Yeah, Rajni told me. Yeah, I will log in. That's not a problem. Yeah, you can log in out, and then I will log in and log in out. Okay, no problem, yeah. I won't take much time, but I will give you some overview of one of the beginning of the research, and so it may be benefited or not, I don't know. I sorry, it's not coming up. You signed up, let me go to.
Go ahead, you can keep talking and I'll just work.
Because I don't want to take much time. Everybody is trying to leave, right? I'm the last movement. Okay. No, I'm going to out because I don't want anybody to see here. Yeah, I'm going to sign out and then sign in and use another account. Yeah, I will do that, right? Just give me a minute, I'm done. And can you help me so that it can come? Yes, is it update? Yeah, it is done. It asking because it's a new computer, it's not my computer. So, hold on 1 second. Let me open here. Yeah, it is done. So, yeah, no problem. Okay, so good evening again, and my name is Kamal Agrawal. I am in School of Business and associate professor there, and teaching some security and e-commerce. And I'm sorry I was busy since morning, back-to-back class.
came back out of the,
Go click again.
it takes a while to come back.
Yeah, I know that. Okay, so I will start. I don't know what is going on here. So. It's not coming out?
It'll come up, it's just slow.
Okay. So my topic is, it's a kind of research topic and it's still going on. It's in beginning. We are creating the framework on that topic. And normally when we do the research, we create some concept framework. Yeah, just give it to me. Some concept framework, and then we go further. So this is the beginning of, this is on the social media information system. And because it's limited time, you know the social media, you know the information system. When in the beginning, mid-90s, we were not using social media for the business purpose, and we were working on 2.1. That was our website design protocol. Now we are working on 2.2, and further we are moving 2.3. So in 2.2, the drastic change what happened, that all the social media tools, maybe Instagram, maybe Facebook, LinkedIn, and others, so many, there are so many, has been incorporated in your website, in the business website. Like you go to Harvard, you will find Facebook sign is there. You go to IBM, you will find Facebook sign is there. So almost Amazon, you go and Facebook sign is there. So the topic was selected at this point. It was social media information system development and enhancement. So the information system is not limited to the organization. It's within the organization. It is very wider nowadays. It is all interconnected. And I can give you some example. You can have the idea. You see that when you go to Amazon or you go to Walmart or you are looking something, and then suddenly you close down, you are not buying it. And then you go to Yahoo. And sometimes the same product you are looking on the right-hand side, Yahoo is there, right? That's the way it is being connected. So that it's a kind of marketing tactics. The second one is that when there was luckily we got it. Okay. When there was no much business online, it was a brick and mortar. You are going to store, buying something, coming back. So the seller was knowing you sometimes after developing the relationship between customer and themselves, find out what customer want, what the nature of the customer, this and that. Now it's very hard to find out who is your customer online, right? What kind of product they are looking. What is the trend, consumers' behavior, all those things. Now we have developed so many tools which has been incorporated in your website, and what happened when somebody is looking some parts, some items, they don't find on your website, you get alert. So if you find that 50 people are looking the same items, then you are alert. You say, hey, we should keep this item in our website so that we can sell it. So this is the way so many trained, like that color combination. Sometimes you like the red color for a few years. After that, as a human being, you change it, right? But we have to see the trend. Why? Why it is important? The important is a lot of business failed. Lot of business failed in United States. I'm talking. I'm not talking globally. Globally it is already proved because of inventory mismanagement. Okay, thank you so much. I will do that. So because of the inventory mismanagement, so what happened, just a minute, give me a minute, and I will, how much time I have, please? Okay, I will take maybe maximum, huh?
Oh, he pulled the plug out.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize for late, but it was not under my control. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I'm ready. So, anyway, yeah, here we are. So let me go quickly. So the social media has become a very strong tool social media has become very strong tool to find out consumer behavior, to find out the business trend. And if you won't believe, just think about your iPhone. When iPhone came, nobody was knowing that this type of technology is coming, right? When internet came, nobody was knowing that internet is going to be part of your life. I always tell my students, I take out your internet and give the all kind of good food and everything, whatever you want, even then you will be sick because you need internet. You cannot survive without internet. Trust me. When I go India, my house is in remote area, and only thing is that I am always missing, and I got sick sometimes because no connectivity is there, right? And sometimes there is a connectivity, but no bandwidth, right? So there are so many problems. So coming to the point, if you see, the social media, it's a computer-based technology. It's clear, everybody knows that. It's not a rocket science I'm talking about. It's all common sense. Management is always common sense. I'm teaching since 1976. You won't believe it, right? Look at me. The second is SMIS, that is the social media information system. So nowadays, even you built your site. You don't have to learn anything. You go to the WordPress, open it, free available tools. Just like you are typing on your Microsoft Word, you can generate your website. I have generated my website, e-commerce, using all free tools. Using shopping cart free, everything is free. Only PayPal is being connected, only they are paying for PayPal commission, that's it. And everything is free, tools, right? So you can see that here, social media, all the information system nowadays, it is built in social media tools. Without that, no information system can work better way, and we cannot achieve the goal. And the role of SMS is, what is the basic role? There are so many others. Only three are the major one. One is that the user community, everybody is using, maybe government side, maybe non-government side, maybe commercial side, whatever the benefit, or you are using your Google, you are getting a lot of information. There many problem comes in the community side, that which information is correct, which is not correct, right? There are so many things. You get the 100 items there. Suppose you type my name, you will get 100,000 pages, where Kamal Nayan, all those appears, right? And to find out who is the right person, right? What is the right information? That is the important. So when we design our information system, incorporating or integrating with the social media, do you understand my English? I am not born here, right? So user community is getting all those ideas. That is why, let me tell you one very good example. I went to India. My nephew is only 9 years old, and he asked me something. I said, I don't know. You don't know? Then Google it. 9 years old, remote area, India, not very much developed as United States, not infrastructure and this and that. That person is saying, Uncle, Google it. You will get the information. You don't know how to Google it? I said, man, I know. So that's the community awareness is very important. And that's why you see that you are getting all the awareness. I bought a car within 2.5 hours. Can you believe? I'm not joking. 2.5 hours. In 9 o'clock night, I started searching. I make up my mind. This is the brand name. This is the car I needed. Next, and I send an email. I need the internet price. I got the price. and it says that go to the Hudson Honda Rockville side. That is true story. I didn't go there. I am a buyer. I'm more smart. So I didn't go there. I went to College Park. So the guy is saying that, what do you want? I said, I want this model, this color, if available, let me know. That's it. Give me good price. He said, okay, this is the price. I said, no, good price, only one. I don't want back and forth. And I want to finalize. And within 1 hour, it's done. And then 1 hour took me for finance. And after that, I took that car. You won't believe, I was going to New York. I said, I will go with the new car. So this is the internet. This is this. And how I make up my mind? Through the social media. I click on there. I got it somebody's opinion. I click on the another person. I click another feedback. And then I make up mind that I will pay $1,000 more, but I will go Honda family. That was my mind. And that pay off. 120,000 miles, I run that car, and after that, I got good value. Honda. I'm not advocating Honda. I'm similar to even comparing Corolla and others. You can compare with the same. But anyway, the second one is the social media sponsor. That plays very important role. Nowadays, think about that. This is the gimmick. This is the gimmick. Sometimes social media you cannot trust, because sometimes people, they give their name, they give their feedback, and maybe the wrong, just they are supporting to that company. So you have to be very careful surfing, going to so many different places, find out the feedback, and so on and so forth, right? CutSart, social media application provider. Which application is very important? Like LinkedIn, it's just professional network. Is that right? Facebook has a different motive. But on the Facebook, you don't have any website, but still you can go on Facebook, generate your 1 page, 2 page, your business page, and you will get the lead. Trust me. My daughter is running one arts and gallery website. I helped her, and she is getting lot of leads for her business through the Facebook. That is the social media impact. Instagram. Just recently I heard that one girl was making cookie on Instagram, posting that, this is my cookie, pictures, this and that, and somebody inquired, hey, can I buy it? And that was the first time in her life. She was just putting out of fun because she loves cooking. Now she has become in 2 years businessman, generating a lot of money, right? So the social media plays important role. Now there is a 5 components of SMIS. I'm not going to teach, but only the nutshell is this. If you need all these 5 components to make the successful information system with the social media. And that is the hardware, software, data, procedures, and people. And on top of that, you need the good connectivity. That is the very important if you are doing the video conferencing and other things. Is that right? Clear? If you are sharing your information. Okay, so almost I have only 5 slides. That's why I was thinking that. So I'm not going to review of literature, means that a lot of research has been done advocating that social media is important, and I'm not taking those things just to cut short. So here the methodology is simple in this case, and we are going to develop some questionnaire and sending to the different outlets so we can get the good idea. So we are coming here. The analysis part, my 2 slides is left, so almost done. The analysis is, and it's all conceptual right now, not much data. Education, formal and informal learning, PLE, personal learning environment, lot of things nowadays in the classroom. You don't have to dependent on instructor. Sometimes instructor, they don't know even. I say always in my class, I don't know anything. Because you are getting the social media information, you collect the information, come in the class, share your information. Sometimes I don't know, I will get benefited. Sometimes you don't know, I will share my information. But nobody is perfect nowadays. The lot of information is in the sky. You cannot collect every information. Is that right? I hope that you will be convinced. Healthcare, improving quality through better communication, beneficial doctor-patient relationship, and helps looking to innovate healthcare, share ideas more widely and effectively. These things, if you think, I will give 2 examples. One doctor is sitting in California and at the same time doing the 5 different operations, different locations, controlling from there. It has become possible through the information system and the other social media, because through social media, through LinkedIn, you get the best network who is similar things are doing. Like that, recently I have developed a website, not website, the WhatsApp, you might have heard, WhatsApp. So I developed a group, and now I got the 126 people all over world, those who are doing in a particular topic research. So we are sending them, hey, we are doing this research. Have any idea, right? Or do you want to partnership with us, publishing the research paper, this and that? So you can imagine that how much we are getting the benefit out of that. Innovate healthcare, a lot of innovations you will find. I am doing the conferences since 2004, several parts of the world, Taiwan, Canada, many similar, India, many conferences, just Bangkok we finished, next Mauritius is going on. And I'm getting a lot of input, lot of knowledge out of that. And you won't believe, this is the innovate healthcare. When we are talking on the healthcare, we are getting a lot of innovation in that, accurate data, accurate information, more protective way we go there, and more accurate, you can say, when we are giving the medication and this and that. I will give one example. You might have asked your doctor. Some doctors here in the United States, they have app on the cell phone, on your phone. So when they are prescribing something, and suppose they have something, their mind doubt, so immediately they click, and it comes, no, doctor, you cannot give you more than 30 grams mg, more than 30 mg within 24 hours. So you have to be careful. Or you cannot give 2 medications together. You have to tell your patient this medication and another medication should be taken with the gap. There are so many things. I can talk many hours, but giving the example based on my experience. But I'm telling you, this is the benefit. Business, pages in social media populated with the impression of the various sizes, user home page and this and that. But in the business, there is one point is missing here. And I'm finishing in 1 minute. I know that you want to kick me out. I know, just funny. So in the business, you won't believe, any business you take about. Like I was sitting some construction people here, and they were designing the whole house, big house. And when they were putting the door and this and that and, lot of windows, alert came. No, you cannot do that. This is against the county. You cannot run your, plumbing along with the electricity. All this happened because of good software incorporated with the good information system, including your project report, Microsoft project, or any project software, whatever it is. It's a big topic. The common denominator is user control. Now you see here, in 1 minute you realize, 5 years back, 10 years back, whatever experience you have. Nowadays, most of the software is more user-friendly, right? Easy to handle, easy to load, plug and play, not before. I was working before joining on the board here as a network administrator 9 years in the industry here in Virginia after completing my MCSE, and I found this is the drastic change today. At that time, I was troubleshooter. I was installing the software. There is a lot of problems, this and that. Nowadays, most of the software you install, and you can go for a cup of coffee, and everything is done. You don't have to apply. It's a user-friendly. like that you are using the data accounting or non-accounting software, production software, this and that, user-friendly. Now the last part, oh, so this slide is missing, I think so. Anyway, so the last part is none of the business can be productive, profitable, and when I'm talking business, I'm talking including Harvard University. All the non-profit, profit business, commercial, everyone, the goal is that to make the profit, right? Some goal is direct profit, some say, no, I'm working for a social work, but still we need some money, funding, managing budgets, this, that, so many things. So you cannot ignore that. So what I'm saying that if you want to be a successful in this your organizational information system, you must incorporate all the available, relevant, not everyone. There are more than 13 social media. You cannot club in everything. You cannot get the benefit out of that anything. You have to select which one is important to your kind of business. If it is service industry, maybe Facebook is very important. If it's a product, maybe something else is important, right? So you have to find out the trend. That's what. Any question? Right. I'm sorry.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions about the business use of social media in business? Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So my question is to you, you do talk about the external social media portion. Do you focus anything on in the enterprise social media?
That's very important. And that is the reason when you join any organization, even the Harvard University, we join, we get the workshop, what to behave, how to behave, what you can do it, how you can communicate, what you cannot communicate. In the social media, very good question, because the communication is a biggest issue. Lot of problem in our life, in our business life even, individual life even, all those conflicts, if you go back, you will find it is all because of not properly communicated. Conflict between the mom and son, daughter, conflict between the employees to another employee. Sometimes your boss says on the way, oh, I have done this. Can you do this? And after when you have done it, he said, no, I didn't say that, right? So what is the social media is playing? That is inside also. You cannot send an email. I know in Silver Spring, there is one organization, it is close to me. I have visited 2 or 3 times, and they have completely told every employee that you cannot use the social media, maybe Facebook, LinkedIn, anything during the office hour and with any colleague. Because you don't know, you are sending something, maybe you are using your language. I'm from India, my way of communication is different, your way is communication different. You are using from your viewpoint, it is okay. I am using from my view, but it's miscommunicated. You say, hey, how you can say like that, right? So the bottom line is productivity, performance, profit. We cannot compromise that. So anything we are using inside and outside, and it is a great question in this sense. Always we talk about, nowadays one research I'm quoting, globally it has been proved, all the online business globally, the cultural factor has got much effect. And here is the communication plays important role. Like that I went to South Carolina, anybody is there, don't be offended, right? I went there and I was talking something, so I couldn't communicate properly, right, in their language. But I saw that one guy was with me from the North Carolina, when he was talking, and many times they say, pardon, say again. So then I thought, oh, I'm not very bad. It means it's a communication, dialect, how you are using. It's not, nobody is wrong. So in the organization, if you want to run, why we are using information system? Just half minute. Why we are using the information system? Because we want to eliminate duplicacy, redundancy, personal biasness. Everything is programmed, right? So anything is there, outcome will be the same, the procedure. So that's what we are doing. It's a good thing that don't read any textbook. Read a lot of materials outside the textbook, you will get the real. Textbook is always old, 2 years, 3 years back. Doesn't give the knowledge. So normally I don't talk about the textbook. I always talk about the people's research, talking to people. Sometimes you don't know people's, suppose you are, I don't know which position you are, but you might have some experience, which I don't have. So when I'm communicating, only then I can learn. Thank you very much. Any question still you can ask me.
Okay, we're running out of time, so if you have questions, he's going to be here a little longer. I want to thank everybody again for coming. I appreciate your time that you spent here because I know it's a long day. And for those of you who came in later, when it's done streaming, you'll be able to watch it online if you're still interested in some of the topics that we talked about today. So thank you again, and I hope to see you all in 2021, because next year we're going to be in Kenya, and we're going to celebrate our 10th anniversary the following year. So thank you again. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you last minute listening me.
Thank you, Dr. Agarwal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for accommodating.